Should. Hello, everybody. You should still hear me. You just can't see me right now. But, oh man, that's not supposed to happen. Hang on, let me see if I can fix that. Hey, there's my dog, though. Look, there's my dog. He heard me talking, so he has to come in here and are you watching me now? There we go. Good morning, all. Good morning. How's it going? Hey, check this out. Ready for this? Look at that. I know it's loud. Wait, how's that? How's that? Is that cool? Now let me see if I can make it stop. Make it start. Okay. Hear me? Can you hear me now? Muted? No. Ah, fuck. Yeah. I don't actually know if you can hear me yet. Hang on. You may not be able to hear me yet. I think there's a good chance you may not be able to hear me right now. If you can, I want you to say the word boobies. Type the word boobies if you heard me. Yes, we hear you now. Well, how do I know that, Tyrannicide? How do I know that for sure? Thank you, Eric, Steve, Hydra Man, and Leslie. Oh, look at all those boobies coming in. Thank you. Okay, cool. There's all kinds of issues going on. I'm trying to make it all better. There's actually been a lot of improvements. May not seem like it, but there's a lot of improvements going on. I just realized that if I accidentally hold my hold my hand up, that it is going to start tracking me again. Yeah, I need to figure out how to make that stop. But that's okay. This is part of why I wanted to run today. Meaning run the show today, is I'm trying to work out some kinks in the bugs and stuff like that. And plus this rabbit hole, the from the land of giants, is just part of this epic story that I want to share with you all. And I really wanted it to be done today. I got just massively derailed yesterday. I'm being derailed Wednesday. Today, life comes, and you have to embrace what you have and do what you can. But the research is just freaking sweet. It is, holy jeez. I can't wait to show you. And since I'm doing all these upgrades, I figured it probably was a good idea to make sure I've got all the sort of the kinks, worked out. Because I tried to do a new moon stream last night and all kinds of issues. So I appreciate you guys being here today. It's not really probably not going to be a really show. I say probably because I hope I won't spoil it. One of the reasons why I typically don't like to actually try and do a show when I have something big happening is because I tend to spoil it. And okay, good. The slide thing working. I tend to spoil it, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I also want to work on my storytelling. I like to work on my storytelling a bit. Is another thing that I've been considering. We do the live stream format, which I like. I if we could just do the live stream all the time, it'd be great. And I could certainly do that. But also, the numbers are just, you got to get those numbers up, James. The numbers just aren't there, and I it's either me, which that couldn't be the case, right? It could be my bubbling personality or my ability to win friends and influence people. It's probably more something associated with the way that I do my craft. I definitely don't want to stop the live streams, but as you guys may have noticed that we've been cutting shorts. People have been sending me suggestions of shorts, not even really a short, just shorter videos. And it's a different kind of art form entirely. It's a different process. It's a different, everything about it's different. And also as a writer, it's actually, it could be that really I'm not muted, right? All of what I do, it would be better if I was to not live stream, but instead to tailor a story. When you tailor a story, it takes a long time, which I have a lot of experience in. I've written a lot of books. If you notice my books, most of them have each chapter is kind of a mini story because, I just realized it's going to, yeah. Each chapter is going to be a mini story. And so I'm already used to the idea of creating a script, having that story be told, and it just takes a long time. That's all, to write the script. And if I was to write the script and actually produce mini shows, right, it might be just something I just haven't tried before, that as soon as I did, it would really turn out to be the right move, right? It could just be the worst move ever. Some of you guys may remember last year I did that. I released 6 shorts. I'm so proud of them. I really like the quality of them is what I mean. And they're more set to music, but the World and Health Information is one. They're actually all right. They're actually all right here on YouTube. Except for one, because you're going to get to go to Rockfin to see the other one. There's only 72 people watching. That's okay. I only gave it really little notice. But inside playlist, there is movies right here. And these movies, I'm very happy with, meaning not only did I really enjoy them, but they were fun storytelling opportunities. But they don't really have a lot of viewership, Look, 4,000. This is a good one. I just realized that I think that's actually muted. But like writing shorts like this, I'm going to actually start this over. This is really good. This is a voiceover by our own Catherine Hopkins.
Dear patient, in an effort to keep all my patients and staff healthy, I've decided to discharge patients who are refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. It is not fair to the 3,000 plus vaccinated patients that I have in my office to be exposed to the 100 or so people who refuse to get vaccinated.
I've had a cardiologist appointment scheduled since May. It is now August. Today is my appointment. I show up for that appointment wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask. And I'm told that because I am not vaccinated and because he is too young to be vaccinated, I can't be seen.
Here's what we know about the COVID vaccine. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective at preventing COVID-19, including severe illness and death. COVID-19 vaccines are effective against severe disease and death from variants of the virus that cause COVID-19, currently circulating in the United States, including the Delta variant. Infections happen in only a small portion of people who are fully vaccinated.
A 5-month pregnant woman who is having heart problems cannot see the cardiologist she has waited months to see.
Even with the Delta variant, when these infections occur amongst vaccinated people, they tend to be mild.
Because I'm not vaccinated.
If you're fully vaccinated and become infected with the Delta variant, you can spread the virus to others.
Tell me again that it's about public health.
My goal is to keep my patients healthy, and I strongly believe that this is the best way to do this.
These doctors and nurses should be fucking ashamed of themselves for turning away a patient who needs help.
This letter is to inform you that I am discharging you unless you can show me proof of your vaccination. I will see you for emergency visits via telehealth for the next 30 days and will help facilitate the transfer of your records to another provider should you choose not to get the vaccine.
Because of their vaccination status.
After 30 days from this notice, you will no longer be a patient in my office unless you are vaccinated against COVID-19.
Unfucking real.
Please know that I have your best interest at heart and I would like to keep you as a patient. This is a team effort and you need to do your part as well to control the spread of COVID-19.
Tell me again that it's about public health.
The COVID-19 vaccine not only protects you, it protects those around you.
Yeah, so, did that one. Did about 5 of them. I won't play them all for you. I guess I could, but I'm very pleased with them, but they're not well received. That thing's been out a year and it's got 4,000 views. Now, obviously, I've had 7 strikes on this channel since last May, so that's 14 months. So every 2 months, I get shut down for a while. Today does mark, though, however, the first day where all the strikes are gone. As of yesterday, I believe, all of the strikes are gone, which is great. But coming back to it, the point is that that video, which took like a lot of time, has 4,300 views, and over a year, that would be good for me for a live stream too. My live streams, 2,000 to 8,000 views is about the best range, and it's totally not sustainable from a YouTube standpoint. The only reason why I'm would even continue to do what I do, which I love to do, by the way, but I'm just talking about just a subsistence, how to survive it. Which, by the way, I don't understand the truthers that are like, well, you're just doing that because you want to sell your book. And I'm like, of course I want to sell my book. Why? Who doesn't want to have a home and a roof and animals and furniture and like a bed and coffee, right? Who wouldn't want that? So that's already weird as shit to me. But I put a lot of time and effort into trying to figure out how to leverage maybe my voice more. Maybe that's a better, instead of saying why my voice isn't leveraged as loud as I'd like it to be, more say why is my voice not leveraged so much. And again, certainly could be me. I've trust me, guys, I put a lot of hours into the fact. Maybe it's just that I'm just don't have that kind of magnetic field. We could even talk about that. I have no issues not discussing that. But here's the thing. I keep getting inspired by these ideas. I can't help it. So I've had that feeling that, you don't have that glow necessary. I've had that for fucking ever. So don't worry. That's not about that. It's more about, I find myself so addicted to the idea that I don't see anyone else covering. If I see someone else covering the idea, I tend to walk away. I'm tend to like, okay, it's done. Somebody's got that. And I don't see someone having where I'm going a lot. And so you just would naturally think that would eventually draw an audience eventually. But it's weird. It's really been more of a downhill decline, if anything. It's been very, very good lately. I've been very happy with it lately. Although the numbers still they go down, not up. And it's certainly hard to not compare myself to people like Quantum of Consciousness, as I'm seeing in the chat, or John Levi. You guys are mentioning them too. Of course there's that, how could you not compare that? And it's just amazing how a video about insinuating that the city of New York was here the entire time and that Indians just didn't fucking notice it, I guess is the idea. That the island of Manhattan, the place of the longbows, we'll do an episode where we explain, oh no, the buildings were here the whole time. And you have all this Indian history that's looking at you like, what the fuck, dude? This was called Land of the Longbows. It's where we would come to pull the wood out to make our longbows to Manhattan. But the videos that are like, 70,000 views are like, stories about that. Stories about, yeah, man, it was all here. St. Louis arch was totally here 1,000 million years ago. It turned out to be a giant's braces, that a giant had a retainer. And when the giant died, the retainer got stuck in the mud, and that's the St. Louis arch. And we've been faking it the whole time, this whole time. And, that kind of stuff is kind of like the History Channel for truthers in a lot of ways. And I definitely know that is part of the formula, part of what causes my formula to be where it is. When I saw Pizzagate, I didn't want to turn it into a story of just feeding that monster of, oh my God, this must be real because that guy's has the same name of I Love LaFontes. That's, oh my goodness, he's the lover of children, so therefore it has to be good. Or even the RVs, the people like RV Truther, who's like, dude, why are you listening to the audio dispatch in order to decipher what happened at Parkland, you stupid orange guy? You're bad and shit like that. And then, I mean, fuck, man, even the Flattoverfest is definitely just like, oh, let's kick in the gut again. It's you definitely look at the message as part of the, but I can't really change that message. I can change my method, but I can't really change my song. I could play the same thing on piano. I could play it on guitar. I could play it in live stream. I could play it in videos. But I really have to write this music. This music has to come out, and I can't really play a cover. And so anyway, this is supposed to be an AMA, not a listen to me tell you what I think about all the time. Because I don't know, maybe you even like that. But sometimes I think about this all the time. And really, it'd be freaking dope if the patron stuff was more used for like patron things. If like the channel itself had its own, if the channel had its own viewership model, then the patron resources could be used for some pretty dank, awesome things that are like beyond this, like the streaming platform or, stuff like that. Anyway. Don't go change it. Yeah, I don't really want to change. I hope you hear what I'm saying. It's not even that I could, Moth. I can't even. I have tried to grit my teeth through some of these episodes because I want to learn why the message is so much more. Why this has so much more appetite to it. I look at it more as, yeah, but there's just sheer numbers. There's just going to be more than 2,004. There's going to be more than 4,337 people out there who've seen this and who feel the same way is kind of where it's at. And I know there's a lot of underground stuff that happens too, so I can't really even look at that. But I can't even really see the analytics clearly is what I should say. Even the analytics are really hard to track. But yeah, those are all parts of it. It's actually part of why I get so butthurt about things like Flattoverfest, because I needed that audience last year bad, desperately. And I got ixnayed on it. And then this year, the same thing happened. And this year, it was because I had the nerve to point out that it happened last year. And it's just like, okay, I get it. But this is part of the interfaction thing, right? And even with Flattoberfest, you see that there's a lot of people that have different theories about the Earth. One of which probably is that the St. Louis fucking Arch was some giant kid's retainer that dropped in the mud. And his parents were like, that's too dirty now. You can't pick it up now. And then it's like, oh, hey, look at this. There's a retainer. Looks like there's some chicken caught in between the little prongs of the retainer. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, 100,000 views. Wow, look at that. 100,000 views of them. So, anyway. Are there any questions? You guys gonna save me? What happened at Flattoverfest? Nothing, Suzette. It's just I wasn't really invited there. I felt like I was shunned after my Flattoverfest, and then actually I don't feel like it. I was shunned after that last Flattoverfest. Apparently I got in trouble because I wasn't supposed to have a campfire. The after party, meaning after the festival was over, that was somehow turned into, no, James was doing this during the festival, that I was having an after campfire party, and that apparently by me inviting everyone, you remember those little printouts where we had the owner, oh, sorry, the thing does that. Go back. Please go back. People don't want to look at that close. You're not going to go back, are you? Damn. You guys are probably going to have to watch this the rest of the time now until this thing goes back. I don't know how to make it go back. But it probably wasn't even like that. Probably wasn't even part of it. That was just the excuse given. What it is it's community. A different community have different feelings about different things. Different subjects are allowed to be discussed. Different people just feel right. Different people feel wrong. The truth is that someone in Karen's house said I get a really bad vibe about that guy. And instead of just being honest with it and just owning what it was just a lot of pretending that wasn't said, or that didn't happen, or that things weren't, forgotten about. But the point is that, look, no one's obligated to invite me to shit. They're not. But when you're dealing with a community that's living on the realm of how everyone is ostracized because they don't buy into the same bullshit, it's kind of weird to be ostracized by the people that are bitching about how everyone's ostracized. It's that part's rough. And it shouldn't be rough because I need to alchemize myself, right? And it makes me just reprocess my message and think about, what's happening and what's going on. And it's actually made me work harder. I realized that the episode about the Giants, you don't really know where this is going, but when you really look at the history of our world, and this is why I feel absolutely obligated to say this, because I'm not able to get anyone else to, is it 2? There we go. It must be 2. That when you, if I saw someone else saying these things, I could just stop. I could say this world doesn't need this thing said. But guys, within every closed system, you can't help but try and find the cosmology of it. And when you look at the Giants, when you look at the origin story of Noah itself, you tap into Aperture, you start to realize there's certain things that are just too painful to look at. When you really understand that, then you know that deep in your history, there must be some things that we collectively find too painful to look at. It's too painful for us to see. And when I use those glasses and look back at history, especially through the biblical record, and I don't just mean the Bible, I'm talking about even the Talmud. It's going into the oral history of what's being recorded. Through the filter of how do we get back to the beginning again? That's what I'm doing. I'm using a cipher of this system is a closed system, which means the beginning and the end are the same. The alpha and the omega are the same. The snake is biting its tail. So how is it that in this system, those two things are closed and they're completing each other? How does it get that way? How does the future become the past? How does the ancient future become the ancient past? And I don't see anyone looking at that. Instead, I see arguments about how someone's a fucking Luciferian because they said this. Or someone believes too much that there are melted buildings, so we can't have them come here. Or whatever the fuck was wrong with James. Who the fuck knows? Because I can't even get a straight answer. And it sucks because if people would just give straight answers, we could all grow. I could hear the data and go, oh, okay, think I'm a... Well, actually, I've been told, apparently, think I have personality issues. Okay, thank you. I'll work on that. At least it's something. It's something to go on, and I know that now, but only now, only after there was this. Anyway, this is how we grow. Is we step into this vitriol and we survive. And one of the vitriols I see is that no one's explaining how this ancient future gets to the ancient past. And I think I know a way. And for me to explain the way takes a lot of time, a lot of slides. The Giants was part of that. I needed to start by explaining how prevalent it is. But I needed you to be in the realm of this is real. This isn't stories. I'm not trying to tell you that this was a giant fucking retainer. And you know, the only reason why I get so offended by some, and I only mean some of these ideas that reference America being here before we got here, what insults me about it is that it's coming from people that have spent their lives ignoring Native American history. That's what fucking offends me about it. I'm not offended that someone has an idea I disagree with. I'm offended because in the middle of the idea, I'm waiting for them to explain how the fuck the Native Americans didn't see these gigantic fucking cities or the lower levels of the state fucking capital. I'm waiting for you to explain that to me, you meaning the person saying this. And when it doesn't come, it's a sinking feeling in the gut because I'm watching you rewrite history over something that's so vital that you understand. That there is a spirit and animism to this land and you're shitting all over it so you can tell a goddamn story about a giant's retainer. Excuse my language. So much is in the dirt here. So many gigantic clues. And if you look at them closely enough, you can discern this stuff. And you know what makes you discern more? Is having time to do it. Is being able to focus on it. Is to spend all your time giving that more energy so you can decode what's happening. And sometimes when I'm writing a show, I feel like I'm decoding something. It feels like I'm decoding something. And it doesn't matter to me if someone else has found it or not because I've found it in a pristine way. I've come upon information in a pristine way, which means I didn't regurgitate it. I connected these dots, which may or may not have been connected before. It doesn't matter to me because I provide more organic information by baking these themselves. Like this idea of this banquet. If giants are fake, or if giants are symbolic only, or if giants are purely just mythical, why are these two different cultures? They're supposed to be pristine, completely separate from each other. One migrated in. And before they migrated in, the Aztlans, right, the Meshikas, before they migrated in, they had to compete with the old giant story that was already there. And they're like, well, all these stories are hinting at something. It's a very specific idea that we're going to poison them all with a giant banquet. Did you know that Noah, in the very first version of the story of Noah, did you realize that on the night that Noah's told to build an ark, he's having a banquet? Do you realize Noah's a giant, right? You get that, right? And when you start to look into all these same things, all of them having an ark, all of them having a tower, all of them having a chosen people to reseed the earth. I'm telling you, it gets you into the ancient future. It's not the ancient past. It's the ancient future. Like Viracocha. The Gilgamesh is not actually Noah, right? It's the dude before Gilgamesh. Una Pawali. I don't know. It's actually in this presentation later, but it's the same figure as Vera Coco. It's the same one. And one's in Mesopotamian Mediterranean basin, and the other's in Peru. It's just absurd. Yeah, up to yeah. Thank you, Level 99 Dust. Up Tinashad, I think. It's not. I don't think that's exactly it, but it's close. It's close. Why did I not include Under the Impression? Because editing videos, I'm just still learning how to do it. I'm trying all kinds of different things right now with those edited video clips. The attention shoppers, that thing came because it was my computer crashed, and the last one that I had edited, all my work was lost for whatever reason. I'm just learning Premiere, but things have gotten a lot better now as I've gotten the systems kind of set up. So that stuff shouldn't be happening anymore. But we're showing the future again. We're explaining how the ancient future gets to the ancient past. And giants are a big part of that, and so is the flood. But the flood is not, I don't think it's what we think it is. And this is where I'm going to give it away, so I need to stop talking about this. But it's important that we go through the giant stuff first, which is what we did. And I wish that the show was ready to show you today. But I'm glad it's not, because I also have there's so much that goes into the shows that once I complete a show, I tend to, I have to move on because I'm trying to bring you guys something new, some fresh content. And sometimes I'm not ready to go on because I'm trying to discern something. And I'm having to read a lot about hermaphrodites. There's a lot to this idea of an arc. I think an arc means more than what we think it means, and I'm looking forward to showing you that. I should stop talking though, because I'm betraying the show by doing that. Roger Spurt, Mud Fossil Universe has years of work showing giants are everywhere. DNA, CAT scans, a lot. Yeah, Ian, I watch Mud Fossil too, and I sit down and I'm like, okay, he's gonna show me some evidence. I'm wide open, hit me, and then I just it doesn't happen yet. For me, it doesn't happen yet. There's a communication that it's gonna happen, and I think it's gonna happen, but it just doesn't actually set in yet. There's definitely some things that I'm just like, wow, that's a really interesting idea, but usually he starts the episode off saying, I'm going to show you today how there's proof of a vascular cavities that are this, and I keep waiting because he told me that that's what's going to happen. So he's told me this is what you're going to see, and then I never actually see it. And sometimes I'll rewind because I was like, I think I missed it, and I'll go back. And sometimes I think, hey, James, maybe what he said he was going to tell you, maybe it wasn't there. Sometimes I say that. And then sometimes I go deeper and I go, I wonder if other people notice. I wonder if other people out there listening to this notice that he said he was going to show this, but then he didn't actually show it. And that probably is the thing that clues me off the most about how what I've said before about the truth movement being a belief movement. And I've noticed before that it's not even accurate for me to insist that everyone takes it seriously. It's a lot like the Grateful Dead. I mean, any band really. You go to a concert and you meet someone that's a true fanatic of the music. He doesn't even like people. He's there at the show because he's into the music and the music alone. There's very few of those people. Most of the people are there, they really don't give a shit about the music. They're there for the people. They're there for the community it brings. And that is a beautiful thing. I've learned to sit with that for a long time and realize, well, that's just great. So if anything, taking these things too seriously would be me expecting everyone to be all about the content, for example, right? When it's not really about that. Many of the people that assemble here, I just happen to be a good little eddy that attracts the right kind of other boats, right? The mooring is in such a way to where it's attractive, to where I bring other humans. Some people gravitate around my content, but they don't actually like me or my content. But it's the people that it brings out that they really enjoy to interact with. So I'm totally fine with that. It's a different kind of role entirely. And sometimes I take myself too seriously because I really want the content to explicitly sit on its own. It's a constant back and forth struggle. And that struggle I notice most when I'm watching someone and I'm like, you said you were going to explain how simple the electromagnetic field was, and you said that it was because of the simplex and that it was a simplex signal. And so I've now heard you say this, Ken, like 6 times, and I've rewinded this same video 6 times, and where you've explained that it's because of the simplex signal, and anyone who doesn't understand the simplex signal obviously doesn't have the prowess to see how obvious this truth is. And I'm just listening, and I've taken notes, and I'm like, yeah, Ken, but you didn't actually explain what you mean by simplex signal. I mean, the word simplex makes it sound like it's a simple idea, and therefore if I question it by typing it into chat, I might feel stupid, which means now very few people will type into the chat, what do you mean simplex signal? And instead, you might find that someone instead will type in the chat, yeah, it's so obvious, the simplex signal, click. And then someone else goes, thumbs up, man, you're right, it's totally simplex. This is so clear. And that now you have this thing that just happened. You're watching this thing that just happened. Where someone picked up a shoe and said, it's not the gourd, it's the fucking shoe. Follow the shoe. And the gourd guy's like, what am I, fucking chopped liver? No, follow the gourd. And you start to notice, wait a minute. No one's asking about the simplex signal. No one's actually doing that yet. Why has no one done that yet? And it's because it's a comfort movement. It's a comfort movement. And if you come in here with this deeper appetite, you're going to rub some shoulders wrong. You're going to get yourself uninvited. You're going to get yourself pushed out. Because this isn't about the data or the information. This is about the brethrenship. That there's truth in the brethrenship that we have. And that is a very real caramel that is inside all humans. Everyone has that. It's a beautiful right and desire to connect with other humans. So I can never step against that. I can't. I can just simply notice that it happens over and over and over and over again. And that each movement says, everyone else is lying. Here's this idea that we have the truth. And then it forms. And then you have a tent. And then the next thing that happens is the tent starts to cleanse itself. We don't want to talk about giant melted buildings. So get the fuck out. Or we're going to have to talk about mandala. So get the fuck in. You're watching the structure of an amoeba, a communal amoeba form, and that's an egregore. And it hurts to be shunned by the egregore. Anyone who's holding the shunning powers has tremendous influence over the community because they hold the power of shunning and acceptance too. It's called gatekeeping. You can be a gatekeeper. And shit like that hurts, and it's viable. It's its own economy. And there are people who spend most of their lives focusing on that economy because it's real, it's legit. It's the prana economy. It's the economy of energy underneath it all. And that's not something I've really perfected yet. I tend to fall into the ideas. I tend to always show up to the science fair with my little project saying, well, it doesn't matter if people don't like me at recess. They're going to weigh the weight of this science project on the trifold poster board. That's what's going to be seen here. But that's not really what we're all here for, right? We're not watching people's live streams to even always get that. That's only part of the appetite. It's only part of why this all works, if that makes sense, you know? And there's, I pay homage to that because I genuinely just love humans. I love when humans accept me. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world is watching humans accept you. There's no reason why anyone should deny that, although people like to pretend. A lot of times the gatekeepers pretend, I don't give a shit about nobody. And really they're the gatekeeper like, fuck. We're ashamed of our own desire for that comfort movement. And we shouldn't be. I think it'd be better if we just diagnosed it for what it was and just learned how to include it in our decisions, such as where we came from. There's this chance that Noah was a hermaphrodite giant. And it's not a pretty theory. It makes you look at transhumanism. Remember, I'm always trying to connect the ancient future to the ancient past. And it makes you start to look at transhumanism and you go, oh, fuck, this is fucking creepy. It's the exact same way I felt when I noticed that Epstein Island, I was looking at Epstein Island. I was reading about the underground submarine basin and how Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license. And I was just like, you know, this story like has everything, like everything that you could imagine that would make a drama great. This story has it. Every one. And you instantly, when you have thoughts like that, you're like, now when you understand how this works, when you understand the product economy, instantly when you have thoughts like this, you're like, how much shit am I going to get from my peers when I explain this? And sometimes I want shit from my peers. Sometimes I love being crucified. Makes me feel alive. You know, oh, I've been banished. Oh, it feels so sexy. It feels sexy being banished. You know, if you're going to talk about prana economy, then you have to be willing to consider that your own is going to be there, and that the things that you are most uncomfortable with are going to be the things that are going to be the hardest for you to see. That's the biggie. So it's better to always kind of overguess what kind of evil you're cranking out, because you're going to be wanting to hide a lot of those things, basically. But yeah. I continue to still push and say, you know what, it just, you know, even though this is going to bother some people here or there, does it make sense? And the answer is yes, which means then it should be considered as a possibility. And the fact that it bothers people so much could actually be one of the proofs as to why it's true. The reason why it bothered so many people that I wrote that Epstein Island was fake is because it was fake. That's what made people so mad. The reason why I explained the simple translation of the word Lucifer, the reason why that bothered people so much is because it was true. It's because it was true. Jeremiah 1. This is just one of a million examples. Jeremiah, let's see if we can find it. Jeremiah 1. Here it is. Jeremiah 1:11. Let's see, it might actually be just more than 1:11. Here, we'll put it up. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You think that people are like way into the Bible. You think that if they're way into the Bible, that would mean they would want to know as much about the Bible as they can. That's what you think. You'd think, well, gee, especially if you're literally calling it the Word of God, then you'd really want to look at that. And I'm going to find this to you. Here's a perfect example. Jeremiah 1:11. And the word of the Lord came to me, asking Jeremiah, what do you see? Jeremiah says, I see a branch of an almond tree, I replied. You have observed correctly, said the Lord, for I am watching over my word to accomplish it. All right? Now, this verse, so this is 11 and 12. This verse has, I see a branch of an almond tree, and it has, for I am watching over my word to accomplish it. You and I have no idea at all, that in the original text, when it says almond tree, and when it says watching over, using the exact same Hebrew letters. Exactly the same. And that you and I decided that, humanity decided, that this Hebrew letters meant almond tree, and these Hebrew letters meant watching over my word. And it's a pun. It's a pun inside the Bible. Between 11 and 12, it's the pun. And a Southern Baptist who's telling me I'm going to go to hell because I'm asking questions doesn't know that. He's never once even looked at the Hebrew for it. And instead, he's going to tell you, well, almond joy's got nuts and mounds don't. And a man's a man because he's got nuts. And a woman's a woman. And what this is really saying is that if you're going to park in the parking lot, you're going to have your nuts in order. And he's going to give you this interpretation of what it means. He's going to tell you the entire time, this is what the Lord meant, this is what it means, all that stuff. And you and him and everyone in the room, none of you will know. None of you will know that it's the same letters, and that this is actually a really funny thing. The Lord is showing Jeremiah humor. And you'd never know that. And there's so many things like this in the Bible. It's part of why I don't have the show ready for you today. Because when we talk about Noah, you're going to see some pretty interesting things. And I'm just a few slides away. It's really close. It's really close. I was almost ready today. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that this is all I do. What I mean is that I just read all the time. I'm always reading. I'm always reading or looking or thinking about something like this. And I'm always going back and I'm always noticing things like this. And I'm noticing them because I'm putting them into this realm of how can the ancient future turn into the ancient past? No different than saying, how can a lung that's full of air suddenly not have air in it? How is that possible? Because I think the two are related. Somehow, I think that a lung full of air is the same thing, somehow gets to a lung that's completely without air. And it turns out the answer is diaphragm, right? The diaphragm of your inside you does those things. And it's not the lungs don't actually breathe you. The bellows is actually your diaphragm. I love doing that. So if it matters any, I want you to know, I don't want to change what I do at all. I mean, I will. We all do what we have to survive. I'm just saying that the heart of what I do is this. I just love doing this. And I hope that I can find people that find it interesting enough, you know, to keep doing it. So, just so you know. Puns are the highest form of intelligent wording about it. Yeah, they really are. It's part of that typology we talked about, that the Bible is written in this typographical symbolism way. Marty sees this. Marty leads, but not a lot of people really talk about this. I think sometimes Marty thinks that only the Bible does this. I'm putting words in his mouth, though. Shakespeare would be another concept to consider. When you start to find the layering of Shakespeare, you realize people had a lot of time. And when you're telling stories, these are old stories. They've had many years to be refined. And that the art of storytelling was based on this syncretistic typology. That you wouldn't waste the ink unless it had this resonance built in. It would be the only way to really do that. You know, I got to be straight. I don't get why people can even act like they're really, really into the Bible without them at least having a desire, wishing, man, I wish I spoke Hebrew so I could read this thing. But it's the same thing that happens with. I'm not. If anyone's confused, I'm not at all talking about Marty, by the way. I think he's a pretty rational guy. I'm just talking about even having the conversations about what the Bible means, like with Lucifer and Owen Benjamin. Jesus, man. When you really want to have a conversation with things like that, if you really want to take it seriously, especially when you're listening to someone tell you, you're God-fearing, blah, 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 then you want to say, well, maybe we should get this right. Let's get it right. Wouldn't it be interesting if you know what the original text said? Wouldn't it be interesting if you knew what that original text, how differently you could interpret these things? Right? The symbol for bet, right, is this tent, this half tent. And that symbol of a tent used in these words could mean so many different things. And there was a time when all of us decided that we would feel more comfortable if everyone agreed on what it meant. And that's why the Council of Trent took, 30 years? Wait, was it 30 or was it like 300? It was like a long time, right? How long did the Council of Trent take? Council of Trent. Just the Council of Trent convened for, the one before it says was 5 years. 45 through, 18 years, guys. 18 years. People did nothing but decide what words were going to mean what and what they weren't going to mean. And that's just the smallest fraction of the true text. You go back into the Apocrypha, you're going to have to pull the Book of Enoch into this. The Book of Enoch is referenced inside the Bible. Why is it that the same people that had the Council of Trent that said you're allowed to say this, you're allowed to think this, you're allowed to think that, why is it that it's okay for the Bible itself to reference the Book of Enoch, but then the Book of Enoch itself has to be kicked out? Why? And I'll tell you why. It's because it's showing you how we get from the ancient future to the ancient past. And it's showing you a different definition. Look at the Ten Commandments. You know, it caused some controversy when I pointed out that there's not a commandment that says don't lie. You would think that most of the commandments could be replaced with just, hey, don't lie. You're going to burn in hell if you lie. It's not even in there. The first two commandments have nothing to do with you at all. First two commandments are you're going to only worship me. Don't even think about worshiping anyone else. And the second commandment is you can have no false idols. It's a lot of paranoia. It's a lot of paranoia about other people finding a different kind of shepherd. That's a clue. It's a clue, just like the 35 entities that have been taken down in the Old Testament. Systematically gunned down by Yahweh. What I mean is that a hit was decreed on 35 different whatevers, right? And when I say whatever, I think it's fascinating to consider what those things could be. That Yahweh could be some sort of AI, a voiceless technology. I mean, a voice-powered technology, much like Siri, much like Amazon Alexa, just larger microphone. And the limitations that you see of the Old Testament are the same limitations that Siri or Alexa would have. There's a wireless network. It's only going to work within a certain range. You're going to have a power source. In order to keep the battery charged, we're going to need a fucking box. And that box is going to have to be certain thick because it's going to have to be insulated. It's going to have to be insulated. You're going to have to put gold on the inside and gold on the outside, but insulated in between. Why? Because you need a capacitor. And in order to have that capacitor for the time, we're going to have to use certain elements that are going to fry your fucking hands if you touch it. This is an electrical battery. You're wandering around not just with a car battery. You're wandering around with a in-series 12 forklift batteries. If you don't know, that's a really powerful battery. There's 12 forklift batteries in series inside this fucking box. And if you touch the outside, you're going to get shocked. You can't even read the Bible and think about Yahweh as being omniscient when you firmly look at all the striving that he had to do in the Old Testament. All the things that he didn't know, that he revealed he didn't know yet. That Yahweh himself was competing in the land just like people were to grow. To somehow go through this strife. And when you watch the process of the flooding, which I'm going to try and not talk about right now because it's built in this next episode, but you really see a true bona fide pruning program happening where an artificial shepherd, the AI shepherd algorithm, was deployed after a forced deluge whose sole purpose was to collect a following, much like an Instagram account, that the Yahweh was there to collect a following, and that following would join him and witness him all the time, much like you would follow someone on an Instagram account, or that you might tune into my episodes, that you would follow this Yahweh for a time and share his posts and write down, right, screen capture his posts and store them in a book. And that we will have a collection of Instagram followers of Yahweh, and we will have wars with anyone that tries to suggest that anyone should follow another account. That kind of thing. This whole process makes a lot of sense if you can step outside of the comfort zone and just really look at the implications of, well, what exactly is this saying? What does it mean? Next time you tease a future show, I want to see cleavage. Yeah, I wish the show was ready today. Maybe I shouldn't have even done a show. I'm actually confused all the time if I should even do a show, you know? I feel like it's... I don't know. This is just how it goes sometimes. That's why I'd rather just have this show so I could throw it down. But it's so good, and I really want to find some more. I'm almost done, by the way. I am. There's just a few more things I want to look up to. And honestly, it's been a while since I have not read the Book of Enoch and with my new glasses on. The last time I read the Book of Enoch was pre 9/11. And I didn't have the equipment that I have now to do that. So, dude, you have people, so be grateful. Not everyone does. Yeah, I don't know if that was directed to me, but yeah, I freaking love people. I love the people I have. It's great. James, this show is very... Well, thank you, Suzette. I was hoping that maybe it would still be something. So, yeah. Where are my transhumanists at? Yeah, Spectral, that's part of this whole thing that makes it makes this entire process like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Especially when we start to look at angels. You know, along the same lines of that almond tree thing is this. Let's see. Let's look up translate English to Hebrew. Okay, so in English, let's enter the word her tent. Okay. Now in Hebrew, remember, Hebrew reads right to left, okay? Now I want you to look at the Hebrew, and I'm just going to change one thing. From her, I'm going to change it to his tent. Okay? And you noticed at the end here, the very last character changed. We're going to change it again. I'm going to go back to her. You see? There's her, and there's his tent. Okay? So just to give you an idea, the Hebrew, in this case, ends in the gender. His tent would be this straight up and down line. Her tent would be this, just put it there. Her tent would be this pi symbol with the window, right? This is the Hebrew symbol for window, basically, by the way. So the vessel framing something, so a lot of times it's considered the crevice, and the memory. The male is this bar, which is considered, really the root of that word is the lineage of, and then the crevice for. Now, so why am I telling you this? Her tent, his tent, is one letter. It's just one letter. And when you look at Noah, tent, Bible verse, you wouldn't know this if you didn't do Hebrew. If you were just in the comfort movement, right? Here's what I'm trying to say. If you were just in the comfort movement, this wouldn't be a topic at all. You wouldn't give a shit. There'd be no reason to even think about this. But some of us want deeper, that's all. We just want to take the music more seriously, that's all. The curse of Ham. And Noah began to be a husbandman. He planted a vineyard, and he drank the wine and was drunk, and he was uncovered within his tent. Okay? That verse is, what is that verse? It's definitely, was hoping it would tell me what the verse was. Let's look that up because I want to show you. Genesis 9:20, that's what it is. Okay, so let's take Genesis 9:20. James is gonna get burned at the stake because he's talking about things that he shouldn't. Yeah. Okay, so here is Bible Gateway. And you see that it says, Noah, when he drank some of his wine, he became drunk and laid uncovered inside his tent. Okay? It says the word his there. No question about it. Definitely says the word his there. So let's look at the actual Hebrew. Biblical Hebrew. Hope I can find this. For Genesis 9:2-1. Hebrew text analysis. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, this will probably do it. And he drank of the wine and became drunk and was uncovered within his tent. And look at that symbol. That's the window symbol. That's the window. Do you remember the window? Shoot, I shouldn't have moved this. Here. Remember, here's his tent, is a bar. And here's her tent. There's that window symbol. Now, I'm not... this isn't even a James True idea. This is... Other people have noticed this. And when I say other people, I mean people who studied ancient Hebrew noticed this. Aholoch. 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 Right? They noticed this. And it turns out that a long time ago, in a certain group of writings that eventually became the Bible, that in a certain group of writings that would eventually one day become the Bible, in other words, the Greek, the English, the ones that you know, trying to get my mouse over here, the ones that you know, a long, long time ago, someone saw her tent and said, well, we'll just make this his tent. It was written down in his tent, the exact same way that someone knew, well, no, here's talking about the almond tree, but here he's talking about to look over. It's the exact same thing. We've missed so many things like this. So many things like this we've seen. And when you... Monday, I would assume this will be ready Monday. You're going to start to look at the idea that the Adam of Eve, even the story of the rib, that I will take a rib from you. The original Hebrew is I will take the half of you. And, okay, now I'm giving away, I'll stop. But there's really fascinating ideas. And you have to have the stamina and the comfort to be able to even look at this stuff, right? You have to be able to find it comfortable enough to look at this stuff. All right, we're going to close it out. Let's see if there's anything. The AI working against James. Maybe. I don't know. It could just be. I think it's more about I say things that are uncomfortable. That's what I think. But maybe not. Yeah, Hydra Man, you're gonna love. Wow, Noah was a trans. You're gonna want to see this next episode, Hydra Man 007. I've got a lot of interesting things to say about it. Again, how does the ancient future become the ancient past? That's the goal here. Is there a way to connect those two things? Let's see. Hey, Rockfies. Watching live first time. Oh, well, great. Just watching and read Best Apocalypse Ever. Glad you bought it. Hope you enjoyed that book. Story about sight, vision is one of my most eye-opening things I've heard. Awesome. Thank you for that. You're going to find this Noah thing is related to the Eye of Ra when we discuss Noah's albinism, which will be part of this next one. And I'm glad you're able to be here too, guys. Thanks for being here. Was this a depressing episode? If it was, I'm sorry. Let me know. Maybe it was. I don't know. I hope it's just more of just kind of like more chilled. Also, I wanted to make sure everything's working. It looks like everything's working. I was having this awful latency thing happen last time on mic, so I'm glad that's gone. My 13-year-old is reading Best Apocalypse Ever. Awesome. I'm glad. I think everyone should read that right now. There's a dojo right now, by the way. We're getting ready to start. And I'll show you guys that. This thing should be hooked up too. A lot of times I want to explain something about music, and this you should hear. Yeah, that took a while to get that all going too. So yeah, maybe music will be part of the show one day. Maybe that'll be part of it. Language is the key. Yeah, you got to figure out what that original. It's guys, the profundity of what's in that Bible, like what actually is in there. how easy it is to lose things because you're looking at pictures. You really are determining meaning from looking at a chemical signature when you're interpreting Hebrew. And the different elements are as vast as your imagination when you're interpreting them. Seriously, it's profound. All right, guys, let's hear some horsing on our way out. And thanks for watching James True Live. Thanks for being a part of it. And hey, we almost have getting close on the subscribers, by the way. If we get like 25 more, I will get to celebrate with Mare Moth. We do a little victory dance whenever we gain another 100 subscribers. So we will take them. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And yeah, you guys have a great weekend too. I can't wait to show you this episode on Monday. And I encourage you, please, to homework. Please look at From the Land of Giants. You'll notice that is going to be necessary to what we're talking about as we tie the story up with a bow. And keep in mind that the entire time I am thinking, how can I tell this story in like a nice 25-minute episode? I've definitely been considering trying that again to see what that does. So let me know in the comments if you got any suggestions on either one of those things. And yeah, we'll see you soon. So this thing is probably not. Yeah, it's still following me. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
It's